Moving into our next story of the day, folks, the left just have to ruin everything. They ruin our education system. They're ruining our social system. They're ruining our culture, which brings us up to this because DC releases a comic with a pregnant Joker who births a son. I'm not kidding. This is real. We got images. We got it all for you, folks. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, because you need to support a conservative and getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers. Because if we don't, then the left is going to win the culture war and we're done as a country. Hit that like and subscribe button. Help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, folks, on Tuesday, DC Comics released an issue featuring a pregnant Joker who births a son. The son, a mud monster who Joker vomits into existence, transforms into a smaller carbon copy of the Joker, reminiscent of an Austin Powers-esque mini-me trope. The storyline appeared. I'm sorry, folks. I gotta have a little bit of fun here. You know what I'm saying? I know you're laughing. Stop it. You thought that was funny too. And if you're not, you know that was damn funny. The storyline appeared as a backup feature in the fourth book in the series, The Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing. Well, just really quick, folks. Here's the picture of the actual comic itself. And let's kind of read it. Let's have a little bit of fun here, huh? Why don't we zoom in on this bad boy? It says here, well, what have we here? I think you're pregnant. I think you're right. Do we have a good OBGYN we use? I mean, folks, it's so ridiculous. And DC wonders why they can't compete with Marvel. It ain't your movies too. It's just all your comics. But these are these executives that go up. They're high power. And even though people don't want this, they're still going to push it out there, even if they have to take losses on it all. It appears that Joker was impregnated by a nemesis who has become enamored with the female magician Zatanna. She curses the Joker, proclaiming that no one else could have his baby as she knocks him into a mud puddle. You got to love the fact that even the left themselves, in a nutshell, basically acknowledge that this can't happen in real life. And so they have to inject curses and basically magic to make a male actually give birth. But, you know, hey, that's the only way it would work. But I know they don't believe in that. That you literally have to perform some sort of supernatural event to make a man have a baby. You couldn't be any more right. Couldn't be any more right. But they're still going to push this, right? Because kids aren't going to think that way. Kids read comic books. I know adults do as well, but predominantly kids. And now they're going to think that men can be pregnant somehow. While Zatanna intended for the spell to ensure he never had children, it inadvertently impregnated the Joker. The comic summary on DC's website didn't disclose the backup storyline. Ooh. Why did the Joker cross town? To get to the bottom of the mystery that has been haunting him? Who is the man pretending to be the Joker? And what does he want? But every lead he follows is a dead end. And every move he makes brings the Red Hood one step closer to him. What happens when the former clown prince of crime comes face to face with the current crime boss of Gotham? Everyone is dying to find out. But you're going to leave out the fact that the man becomes pregnant. Maybe that's a huge plot twist. And going, bam, he's trans. Bam, he's lesbian. Bam, he's gay. Bam, he's having a baby. Right? That's the big banger. That's the climax of it, probably, folks. That's where they want to get at. They don't want to inject you with all this stuff. They want to make sure your kid picks it up without you knowing, because you haven't read it yourself. And now they're walking around going, men can have kids. And you're going, what the hell? Where'd you learn that from? Well, I got it from a DC comic, Dad. I was reading Batman. I was reading Joker. And you're going, when the hell did this start? Well, folks, welcome to reality. Welcome to 2023, because it started and now it's everywhere. The comic was written by Matthew Rosenberger, who bylines with DC Comics span 72 titles. Comic review site Batman News characterized the latest edition as probably the worst story read by them. And not just for the Joker impregnation bit. The critics noted that the Joker has never been a character obsessed with chasing after women. Surprised that Rosenberg must have been influenced by marijuana. Basically saying, look, this guy pulling this stunt, I mean, he has to be on something, right? And this probably isn't even a conservative necessarily talking. This is just a critic going, look, it's not even just the impregnation part. It's just the fact that it was terrible story writing. And we see this time and time again from Disney and other execs coming up and writing Obi-Wan, which was trash, Andor, which wasn't that good, destroying the entire trilogy series to the end of the saga of Star Wars, which Kathleen Kennedy helmed and pushed forward. So it's these terrible writing. It's this terrible execs pushing the fact that they want certain trans and LGBTQ plus community to be 50% of their lead characters, and nobody wants to see that. But again, they're willing to take losses, you guys. They're willing to take losses. And I guarantee you, Disney, for example, I know it's a little bit different because this is DC Comics. Disney literally fired their CEO, Bob Chapek, and the guy that ran Disney Plus, because you have these execs below him that want to push this narrative out there. So they signed Bob Iger to a 2-year contract, and they expect him to change things. Things were woke when Bob Iger was in there. The problem isn't Bob Chapek, folks. I mean, some of it probably could be. The problem is the people down below that are actually running the show, not the CEO. The executives are ousted in their meetings saying they want to push a certain agenda, but they don't see it. Now you got to happen in DC. They still don't see it, though. This is the one of those comics you can't really review because there's no real story or artistic vision to pick apart. Writing aside, however, there has been a lot of these little moments of these stories at DC lately that make me go, how the heck did DC editorial give that a green light? We say that a lot. I said that about when the Star Wars Last Jedi came out and others. I'm like, you do realize they're spending millions of dollars on these things. It's not like they just pass this through without reading the script, without actually consulting, without actually having these meetings with the art department, with the script writer, whoever it may be, the director, go, okay, let's break this down. What's the concept? We're about to invest millions of dollars into this thing. What do you got? So there's people sitting down, a lot of big people, executives going, this is a great idea. No, I think this is what the fan base wants. The fan base wants to see a pregnant Joker giving birth. That's exactly what they want. These people are idiots, you guys. They are. And they should be fired from the job for being idiots. They should not be in that position. If they really think the fan base wants this, they are so far removed, it's head spinning. Well, DC has incorporated a social justice spin on its classic characters over the past few years. Like I said, it's been going on. It's been going on. Progressing these narratives despite a steep, steady decline in sales. I told you, they're willing to take losses. They don't care, you guys. They will drive a company into the ground. They don't even believe in capitalism, these leftists. So when you got these guys up there, they'll drive a company right into the ground to push their narrative upon your kids. And us as well. One of the, quote, woke comics that failed more recently was Superman, son of Kal-El, in which Clark Kent's son, Jonathan, was revealed to be bisexual. Just lovely. DC Comics then incorporated this new vision of Superman into their DC Pride anthology, giving him a makeover with a rainbow pride flag cape. I mean, they have to destroy everything, you guys. Literally, they're destroying everything. And it sucks that I'm this age and having to deal with it. Can we go back to the 80s when stuff was actually good? Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Home Alone, actual storytelling, the good stuff. But no, we can't. So we're in some alternate universe and having to deal with the shenanigans left and right. Well, after initial interest from fans, the series quickly dropped out of top ratings within a month. Shocker. Shocker that it wouldn't do well. I'm sure the execs are shocked going, oh my God, look at all these racists. Look at all these homophobes. Look at these people that don't support LGBTQ+. We don't care if somebody wants to be gay. We don't care if somebody wants to be trans or whatever. Just as long as you're not doing it to kids and you're not pushing it upon kids like you're doing here. If you want to make a separate Superman that's not called Superman and you want to be gay, trans, or whatever, do it. Just leave Superman alone. Leave Batman and Joker alone. Leave Star Wars alone. Leave James Bond alone. Stop it. Just leave them alone. I know you tried to do a Ghostbusters spinoff and you didn't make the original Ghostbusters gay and trans. Good job. And you saw that it didn't work because people don't want to see that type of Ghostbusters. They expect men to be in the Ghostbusters, like the original cast, or at least something very similar. And I would like to point out the Ghostbusters sequel that had the little kids, where the little girl was that one guy's like granddaughter. She did a great job. A great freaking actor. Looked like the guy played it well. So if you do it right, you can have a woman be a lead and have her be successful and have all of us go into it excited about it and allow it to just kind of play out and be its thing. But they don't get that. They have to make sure that they do some weird wording and storyline that puts it right front and center. And you're like, okay, I know your agenda. I know what you're doing. I'm just here for a nice movie or comic book or story, and you got to ruin it for me. And then when you don't want to see what they're trying to force feed you, now you're homophobic and you're just some sort of phobic. You're a bigot, racist, sexist. That's how it works. Even they're like, I watch a ton of movies that have women's leads, or there was a gay lead that wasn't forced down my throat, or whatever it may be. I'm just tired of being it just right front and center. Just give me a good story and let it work out the way it's going to work out. Well, prior to the LGBTQ plus focus, DC Comics would use its books to respond to other current social justice issues. Get this, in 2017, DC released a comic as an apparent rebuke of former President Donald Trump's announcement that he would shut down former President Obama's deferred action for basically the DACA policy is what it's talking about. The comic depicted Superman rescuing a group of illegal immigrants from a white man donning an American flag bandana and wielded a machine gun. The assailant was angry that the group had stolen jobs from him. Now, to be fair, if you look at these comics, even going back to like, I want to say like the 70s and 80s, even further than that, they did utilize current events in the comic books. So it's not out of the realm, but very rarely did they really tear down a president and really push a certain narrative that wasn't really anti-American. really pushing just American agenda and stuff like that. But hey, you know, it depends on the comic. I'm not super knowledgeable on this stuff. If you are, give me your opinion down here. I got a lot of friends that love comics. I got a lot of friends that know a lot about DC and the narratives and stuff that they push. Let's create a thread down below and have a little bit of conversation. Heck, maybe teach me a little bit of something. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.